2 years ago, when Amazon came out with Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power Season 1, it was one of the biggest disasters we've ever seen on television. The most expensive TV series ever made, and it ended up being a complete and total flop for Amazon compared to what they actually spent on this series. And when you looked at the viewership, it was clear that people did not like what they did to the world, to Tolkien's lore, and they didn't like this series. Of the people that actually gave it a chance, only 37% of viewers actually saw it all the way through to the end. So when Season 2 premiered just last week, a lot of people were wondering how many people were going to actually tune back in and give this enormous pile of shit another chance. Well, as it turns out, just like we thought, it's terrible news for Amazon. Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power Season 2 premiere viewership reportedly suffers a 50% decline from Season 1. And really, it's over 50%, not nearly 50%, because when you look at this is from 2 years ago. Samba TV, which this data is really only relevant if you're comparing it to other things that Samba TV has given data on. It essentially monitors tens of millions of smart TVs all across the United States. According to them, 1.8 million households tuned in to watch Rings of Power, the premiere of Rings of Power, 2 years ago. Well, here we are after the disastrous Season 1, and we just got the numbers for Season 2, and it's abysmal. 900,000, a 50% drop, and that is with an extra day of viewership. 1.8 million in the first 4 days for Season 1, and 900,000 over its first 5 days for Season 2. To put that in perspective, and Now It's Known pointed this out, something like Reacher, which had, I think, 1.1 million households tune in to the first season, in its second season, it had a significant increase, a 20% increase, up to 1.3 million households. So yes, Rings of Power, just like many of us speculated, after the viewership data and after the terrible reviews for Season 1, people weren't going to give this thing a chance. You have now lost half your audience from the first season. And this is, I will remind everyone, the most expensive series in the history of television. You're talking about well over $1 billion just for 2 seasons of Rings of Power. Now, something I speculated last week when I was on a live stream was we did see an improved audience score for Rings of Power Season 2. It's up to 59% on the old Rotten Tomatoes audience score, which is an increase from the first season, a 38%. And I said I think one of the reasons that's happening isn't because people think this season's significantly better, but I think so many of the people that truly hated the first season, they're doing what a lot of these companies have said. If you don't like it, don't watch it. They're not watching, and that is a massive fucking problem. The idea that your series, based on one of the most beloved IPs in history, after 1 season, viewership is tanked in that way, you lost half of your audience. This spells disaster for Amazon. And they probably had to know that this was a possibility going in, because when we got those internal Amazon documents that only 37% of people had finished this series, that would be an automatic cancel that series from virtually every other streamer out there for any other show. But when you've already dedicated so much time and effort and energy and money, and there's so much riding on this, they already supposedly have contracts to do 5 seasons of this. I don't really know what their options are. But this is what happens when you turn the audience off, when instead of just sticking to the lore and sticking to the IP, you decide to insert your agenda in each and every place you can. You don't want to make a Tolkien show. You want to make Tolkien what you've always wanted it to be. And that's what this series is. None of this stuff is actually happening. I'd call it fan fiction, but these people aren't actual fans. They're going completely contrary to so many things that Tolkien wrote about. It is embarrassing, it's terrible, and that is why they lost half of their audience between Season 1 and Season 2. A complete, pathetic failure for Rings of Power. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.